Hello everyone, Meteorologist Jim Dickey here in the ABC 7 Hurricane Center with another edition of Tracking the Tropics. It's the final day of August. Of course, September tends to be the most active month of a given Atlantic hurricane season, and right on cue, two areas of concern we're watching in the Atlantic this morning. Of course, the wave off the coast of Africa that, as of this recording, is still potential tropical cyclone 6, but likely to be Florence before very long. Then we also have a tropical wave moving across Hispaniola towards the Bahamas. Get to that in just a second. I want to start out with what will again soon be Florence near the Cape Verde or Cabo Verde Islands. Now, we have the 8 a.m. advisory in, again, as of this recording. By the time you're watching it, this could very well be Florence. But what's going on here right now, while they haven't named it just yet, you can sort of see where the whole swirling is going on. The center is just south of those Cabo Verde Islands, and all the thunderstorm activity is displaced off to the south and east. So per the NHC, they're not seeing that thunderstorm activity wrap around the center yet. They don't have an indication of that well-defined low-level center as of yet, and as such, they still haven't named it. But all indications are that will occur sometime today. When it does, a depression, if not tropical storm. When it gets to tropical storm strength, as it is expected to do so, it will take the name Florence. Now, some good news here as far as the track of Florence is concerned. This is the upper level pattern. You see those two bullseyes here stretching from the coast of the United States all the way to the coast of northern Africa. So two separate circles there, are two separate areas of high pressure, meaning there's sort of a break in the Atlantic ridge of high pressure that keeps the easterly trade winds in place in the tropics this time of year. It's due to a little dip in the jet stream, a trough that's building in, as what will be Florence moves towards that break in the Atlantic ridge. It's going to be drawn northward. All indications are this storm is going to curve to the north, stay out over the open waters of the Atlantic, and not be much of a factor for weather in the United States. So there is your cone of concern. And this is why now the NHC names these potential tropical cyclones. It allows them to put out these forecast cones before they actually form. It allows them to issue watches and warnings and tropical storm advisories out for the Cabo Verde Islands, thanks to potential tropical cyclone 6, which, as you see in that official forecast, is forecast to become tropical storm Florence by this afternoon. And again, you see the curve, so this is likely to come nowhere near the coast of the United States, so some good news there. But what will be a factor for the United States, and Florida in particular, is this tropical wave moving north of Hispaniola. Now, it's not much to see. There is no organization whatsoever with this right now. It's just a broad trough, an open wave of low pressure that's helping to kick up a little more in the way of thunderstorm activity this morning. You see that with the yellows showing up on the satellite presentation. Those are some taller cloud tops, some thunderstorms. The reason why it's not organizing just yet is the wind shear. Take a look at the current wind shear stretching from the eastern Gulf all the way down across the Caribbean. Very high wind shear in place. We talk about wind shear, we're talking about the wind shifting in direction and speed as you work your way up in the atmosphere. Remember, for tropical systems to come together, they want calm conditions. They want to be able to stack themselves vertically and strengthen as such. When the wind shear tilts these systems, tears those developing thunderstorms apart, it doesn't allow them to stack, and so we don't get that organization, and we won't. At least that's what the NHC says. This is their tropical weather outlook, showing a low chance for development, but not until it gets past Florida. And even then, just a 10% chance in the eastern Gulf. When it does get there next week, the conditions get a little bit better. The wind shear dies down, so there is a window of opportunity that this could come together. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not, entirely impossible that a little low-level center couldn't try to spin up as this moves towards Florida and the Florida Straits. It's something we'll be watching. Just at this point in time, not looking all that likely. What it will do is throw some deep tropical moisture our way. So watch the time. This is the European forecast model. This is on Saturday. I want you to focus in on the Bahamas there, that area of red. That's the moisture field associated with this tropical wave. As we move our way into Sunday and Monday in particular, that increased tropical moisture moves into South Florida. And there's a little curvature in the winds, too, speaking to that area of low pressure. By the time we get to Wednesday, this model, the European that earlier on this week was closing this off quickly, still doesn't close this off. But again, you see the curvature. speaking to some chance that localized low pressure, a tropical low, will try to come together. This is one of our in-house forecast models. This tends to do a pretty good job with developing tropical systems. What it says, we go through Sunday into Monday, the increased rain you see there over the Bahamas, that is in association with that tropical wave, already bringing some increased rain to the Miami area by Monday. This is early Monday morning, and look at the wind. Start to see a little bit of curvature here, marking that tropical wave. We get into Monday afternoon, Monday evening. It's already starting to try to close something off close to the coast of Florida. Now, doesn't mean much for us other than, I think, when we get into Monday evening, we're talking about more widespread, the potential for some heavy rainfall here. Still a question of timing. I think we still get some dry weather in Monday morning if you're worried about your Labor Day plans. If this speeds up, of course, Monday could be a bit of a washout, but if it slows down, we'd be on the dry side of this, and Monday could end up being a dry day. So the timing will be important as to how our Labor Day shapes up, something we'll be tracking throughout the weekend, so keep checking back with ABC7 for updates on that forecast. But to get sort of an overall look, takeaways here. First of all, Florence, likely to form today, but also not likely to be any impact to the United States, going to stay out over the open waters of the Atlantic going into next week, but should become a hurricane as it does turn to the north and west. That tropical wave will head towards Florida this weekend into early next week, into Labor Day, bringing a chance for some heavier rainfall here for southwest Florida, starting Monday, lasting into Tuesday. And then we have to keep an eye on that tropical wave as it moves into the Gulf, because there is a window of opportunity that a tropical disturbance could try to spin up to form there in the Gulf next week. Of course, I will have a closer look at that. I'll be back on Monday with a new update as we look at what's going on in the Gulf as that wave moves westward across southwest Florida. Until then, I hope you have a great holiday weekend. See you in a couple days.